3, 2, 1.
Welcome to DPMF Live. Now meet our hosts.
Now, are you ready?
Good evening. It's Sunday night. It's very nearly 8 o'clock. It's the 19th of January. It's DPMF Live, back with another fat one. Tonight is episode 53. This is all about XRMine. XRMine and Andy are happily coming on to our space to have a little chit chat about what they're doing on their project. We've also got a guest speaker, Will Exoge is coming on, which should be cool. And we're just going to have a good time and a good chat and a deep dive about what's going on. Anyway, if you like the space, please share the space. Please like, please subscribe. Please put some comments on. Go to our YouTube channel, which is looking rather cool, I have to say. Thank you, Raylene, again. Watch our channel. Get some info. All the shows are going on there. If not, they're on the website. Have a look. See what you think. Give us some feedback. We love feedback. We love the community getting involved, as ever. Dan, have you got anything? Oh, Dan, how did West Ham get on Saturday?
We won't talk about that. Right.
Oh, come on, let's talk about that. How great we were. Go on.
I'll be honest with you. You've brought it up. I know.
Yeah.
Lost.
Do what?
I didn't watch it. I was working on Saturday. But because you've brought it up,
Do you know what? You West Ham fans are really moody. And you're really actually very quiet as well. Us Palace fans outsang the whole 60,000 of you lot. It was funny.
West Ham fans are very, very tribal. Incredibly tribal when it comes to football. I actually was a big West Ham supporter when they was at Upton Park. I used to go to all the West Ham games.
It was a good place, Upton Park, to go, I have to say.
The scene was fantastic, right? And if you was an iron, if you was a hammer, if you was a West Ham fan, you know, it was the best. You didn't want to be the opposition because you can get your arse handed to you. But it was the best atmosphere. It really was. It was when Harry Redknapp left West Ham. It was a bit of West Ham left me, so I wasn't so strict in following them no more because he was the manager who I followed quite sincerely.
He was a good manager, wasn't he?
He was. And when he left, I kind of hung the towel up, and I don't follow him as strictly anymore because it's not the same. Back in the day with Steve Potts there, and I loved West Ham back then. But anyway,
your stadium is quite soulless, really. It's quite, you're about 6 miles from the pitch for a start. It's not great. It's not great.
Do you know the World Cup winners of 1966 for England were mainly made up by West Ham players? I think there was about 6 West Ham players in the squad. So Bobby Moore, obviously,
very patriotic. West Ham was. It has there's a history of West Ham, a real history, and I don't think you'd ever meet better supporters for any team, especially back in the 80s and 90s. They were the football team that everyone wanted to support, even though Man U were in most of the time up number one. But West Ham was a good one. Right.
Anyway, let's get back on track. The markets, Danny boy, fill us in.
Well, I don't know. Should we start off talking about Trump coin?
Yes, please. I bought some.
Because that was. I didn't think it was launched by the Trump family at first, but turns out President-elect Donald Trump launched his own cryptocurrency, the Trump meme coin, on Solana, January 18th. The coin was introduced through posts on his Truth Social platform and X. The launch sparked a feverish buying spree, sending its market capitalization soaring to several $1 billion in a 24-hour period. It was huge, to say the least. you know, why wouldn't it be? Donald Trump has got a lot of success. This meme coin is, you know, going to be a reflection of that. And turns out, I imagine most of the US probably bought it. I know Wesley has bought some. Yeah, I don't know where it sits on market cap though. It's not on Coin Market Cap. Does anyone see how much it is in?
Yeah, it's currently trading at $72, I think.
Actually, it is on Coin Market Cap. I saw it earlier today. Hold on.
Let me see if I can find it. Do you know rough? Okay, official Trump is sitting at number 16. It's been online like 2 days.
Yeah, it's selling for
Massive.
$65 right now at a coin.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's on Dex Screener as well.
Up 914% on the 7 day. And just as a point to note for anyone who does have an interest in Trump coin, the official Trump coin by the coming in president, it has come out that there is a large supply held back. So I think only 20% is circulating. So it's about 8%.
That's right. I think they've got 100 billion or 100 million total supply, but only 200 million are circulating at the moment.
I think they were going to release, from what if I understood correctly, I think they were going to release 5% on a monthly basis from escrow. That's I think that's what it was, but they are going to be releasing monthly from escrow.
Oh, so they'll have the whole lot out in just under a year and a half then.
If I understood it correctly, yes.
Oh.
How feasible could it be for Trump to turn around to the rest of the world and say, right, this is the worldwide currency. If you don't use it, you're going to get blacklisted.
Only a few weeks ago, he was going about the dollar. He said the dollar is king. The dollar is number one. We cannot let the dollar fail. And then he's like, well, we'll make this meme coin and we'll see how that plays out as well.
I think in a way as well, by introducing it as a meme coin, it bypasses a lot of legislation issues. It doesn't have to declare whether security or things of this nature, but also as well, nobody knew it was coming. I heard that he invited people to a black tie event, and then he's released it in front of all these crypto investors and top players, and he's just released it and no one knew about it, which sounds typical Trump, really.
Right, shall we fly on? Because today we've got Andy from XRMine on. Cheers for coming on, bud. Looking forward to hear about your application, and we'll be coming in as well as a guest speaker to join us. Right, I'll fly through this. So Bitcoin sitting at $105,000, currently up 11% on the 7 day. Ranked at number 2, Ethereum, sitting at 3,408, which is up 5%. Sorry, cancelled 4.05%. XRP is still sitting at number 3 spot at $3.22. It's up 26% on the 7 day. USDT is ranked at number 4. I'm expecting that to come down actually in the coming weeks. Solana is ranked at number 5, sitting at $268. That's actually up 42% on the 7 day, and that would be relatable to the Trump coin, obviously launching on their network. BNB is ranked number 6 at $705. Can't remember when that was really low. That's at 1.44% on the 7 day. Dogecoin, 39 cents. That's ranked at number 7. That's up 15% on the 7 day. USDC at number 8. And then at 9 and 10, we've got, if I can scroll this thing down, Cardano is at number 9 at $1.08, which is up 10% on the 7 day. And number 10, we have Tron sitting at 24 cents at 3.34% up on the 7 day.
Does anyone actually own any Tron? I definitely do not.
No, I'll tell you what though, it holds steady, doesn't it?
Odd one, isn't it? Odd one.
I'm sorry, did you ask about the Trump coin? Does anybody own?
Did someone buy Tron recently? I'm sure.
Oh, Tron. I'm sorry.
I'm sure the network's been bought up by another network. I might be wrong, or they've bought something. I'm gonna have to. I'll quickly look at this, but there was something about Tron being bought up or buying something. I'm gonna quickly look at this.
That Justin Sunny, that he, I don't know what it is about him, but he was always a bit. I don't know. I'm not sure about him, man. Anyway, Andy from XRMine, open up your mic. Welcome to the space. I'm really pleased that you've decided to come and join us. Fill us in about yourself.
Yeah, nice to be up here, guys. Thanks for inviting us. It's been a long time coming. My name's Andy. I'm from Stockport, Manchester. I've always been one of those tech guys working away in the background, fixing everyone's devices, doing that good deed, going around plugging in printers, fixing shit for people at the same time as working in the horrible corporate system that we have out there today. I've done some really cool things. I've worked in almost every industry you can think of. But it's never kind of worked out, and I've always used tech as like a backup. Always gone back into repairs, something like that. But I've always fascinated about what's going on inside things. So a couple of years ago, I had another turn with something didn't go right. And I was looking for the most exciting, kind of scary, edgy technology that there was out there. And obviously I stumbled into this wonderful community that's going around. And this is what led me.
Awesome, man. Now, you said you're from Stockport, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Do you support Manchester United or Stockport?
No, I support Manchester City.
There you go, Palace. I hope that puts an end to the age-old argument.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 90s kid, and I did go to Main Road. I had a season ticket in the North Stand.
There you go.
Some brilliant times back then.
Are you sad about Dennis Law passing as well? He was a legend for both clubs in, wasn't he?
It's happening all too often now. There's a lot of legends passing all the time.
Absolutely.
For myself, I have kind of I've gone down a massive rabbit hole, and I'm staying away from a lot of the things like football. I'm massive into my video games. I love my retro video games. But I've kind of put all that to the side and started focusing on myself and trying to just build something that's quite unique that no one's thought of, but everyone's kind of spoken of before.
Cool.
Trying just to help as many people as possible. It's kind of what I do. I get a lot of enjoyment of helping people.
I like
so
that.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about XRMine then. What's the concept? What's it all about?
So one of the things that I stumbled across quite early on was it's really difficult for people, just Joe Blogs, to come off on the street and try and participate in everything that's going on. We all know that obviously you step away for 2 minutes from this and you've kind of lost the plot. You don't know where anyone is, what they're up to. And then when your best friend comes up to you and starts asking about all this stuff that you're interested in, it's really hard to explain it to them. If you do manage to explain it, they walk away and they're still quite confused and they have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to create an onboarding platform where your friend could walk away with quite a solid foundation of where they could go and quickly become part of communities, start looking over things that are quite well done, much like Fusion and a few other platforms, reputable teams. And if they do a bit of digging, they go deep diving. I've kind of coined XRMine as in like you mining the data of these people, going back to their platforms daily, you get rewarded in their asset. So it's quite a unique concept, and it's in some ways to try and aid with distribution instead of throwing it all out there in one big go in an airdrop or scheduling these airdrops. It could be an open thing that's accessible by anyone at any time. Someone who's genuinely interested in following your project and what you're doing. And that's kind of where I'm going. It's been a long process. I've been learning over the past couple of years, trying to get all this together. And it's all been in the background. It's all been there. There's a lot more that's on the drawing board. But we're getting there and it's looking good so far.
So are you working on this project on your own, or do you have a team with you, or who you got around you?
So honestly, it's just myself who's actually built everything that you can see. My wife, my partner, she's very supportive of everything that I've been doing, and she does chip in a bit here and there, proofreading things and doing a bit of art for me. But majority, I am part of quite a large tech community, but every time you mention the word cryptocurrency or blockchain everyone just turns a blind eye. And it's been a bit daunting over the last 12 months because I've been reaching out in quite a lot of different areas, attending a lot of events with AI, metaverse, funding partners, and it's all, every time you mention blockchain, the conversation.
Absolutely. And what attracted you to the XRP as opposed to any other cryptocurrency that's out there, Ethereum or Solana or whatever?
Just for the ease of development, in all honesty. I stumbled into XRP because one of my friends was quite excited over meme coins and all that kind of thing quite a long time ago. I think the very first time was around the XR Dodge area when that first came in. But I've always been fascinated about technology. I was looking up why it's named XRMine. Is obviously the first thing as a technology guy is looking into cryptocurrency. How do you mine it? What could you do? I decided to kind of put a spin on the XRPL because at the time people were building things like StakeX to try and build a staking platform that's not native on it. So I decided at that time to coin XRMine and say, what if we mine the data of the projects and the teams and you're rewarded in a said asset. So it's a bit of a fun spin, and we can claim that there's some sort of mining system available.
Cool. So I've got your app up in front of me, XRMine app. What things can I do in the app? Just explain a bit about the app.
Yeah, so at the moment it is very much in early days, and I've just got the very core foundation of it. So if you head over to the app, you can log in, and that's handled with Zaman. I've got that riddled all the way through, as well as connected to XRPL cluster. It's all set up on my own systems. I've got my own hardware running it, so it's quite a robust system at the moment. It just needs expanding and umphing. But if you sign in, you'll be able to jump into what I call the hub. You'll be able to see loads of different projects that are listed on there at the moment. And if you don't currently have them within your wallet, you'll see that you can view their documentation and set a trust. I kind of wanted to bring all that in-house and have that, try and tie those two together for an onboarding experience. The very first thing that someone should be doing is being able to see some sort of documentation before they look or even set a trust line. So there's a few elements of doing your own research that are kind of embedded into it. So effectively, if someone digs around and starts going through looking at all these teams, they'll have a bit more of an understanding of what a good thing looks like. When they leave the platform, they'll be looking for a white paper of some description before they set a trust line. Fingers crossed. If you've got a trust line, absolutely brilliant. You can then go onto a mining page, which is effectively like a drop faucet. When you reach that page, you'll see some information about the drop itself. You see the token image, and there's 3 buttons available to get direct access to a social channel, a website, and some distribution statistics. If you hit those on a daily basis, then you'll have a maximum reward for like an engagement bonus. It's the way I've got it incorporated at the moment. So it's kind of incentivizing that if you come to this team and have access to this pool, look over these channels and you'll receive more of it. At the moment, it does not incentivize any kind of holding in that asset. And that is something I will possibly work in at a later date. However, I want to try and keep it as open as possible, to kind of have it as free for anyone to use it, rather than it being selected off just for buy this token first and then you can have this. That works long term.
That's quite an interesting concept. So are you rewarded in XRMine tokens, or are you rewarded in the other projects that you were looking at?
So you are rewarded in XRMine tokens when you look at our channel, and you're rewarded in other people's assets as you go over their channel. So if you go to Fusion, I think currently I've got XDX connected to that. So we are at the moment distributing other teams' assets that we have acquired over quite a period of time. At the moment, because it's not fully built out, I wasn't going to start reaching out and saying, "Oh, I'm putting this together. Come and drop me X amount of tokens, and we'll do this." It's very much a proof of concept stage. So if I put this on testnet, there'd be no one there to actually run it. So it's still a very much test phase, and there's a lot of exciting things coming up to look forward to that will enhance the platform. Everything that you see now is very basic.
Are you utilising the AMM for the distribution of your tokens between each pair?
That's not currently connected. However, I do need to reach out over to Anods, because obviously those guys have done really well with their stuff. Connecting each pair through an AMM would be a really good idea, and I believe Tipper currently offers that. I went over to XRPL Commons in the middle of last year to do AMMs with them, and every time I've looked at it, I've just got a massive headache and I've had to walk away. I will go back at it again. I don't like being defeated, but at that point, I just had to walk away.
A lot of the projects actually really struggled with these airdrops, and they actually destroyed a lot of projects. So I quite like the way you're doing it, where you get an engagement and then you might get some kind of reward. I think that's quite a good concept. It teaches people that you don't just get things handed out for nothing, and you actually have to learn something or do something to interact and get some sort of benefit in that respect, and not always financial as well. What other things are in the pipeline that you can tell us about for XRMine?
So for XRMine itself, I mean, I have a massive long list of things that will be coming up for it. So the introduction of NFTs, I've got a different mechanic. Instead of tapping away at a little rock, you're tapping away at it's like a scratch and sniff kind of thing. But we haven't actually begun distribution of any kind at the moment. We've kind of sat hold of XRMine tokens for a very long time, because I've always been trying to figure out how this should be done in the kind of correct way. And every time I've approached someone, quite fairly big people, no one seems to have a definitive answer. And I've always said, until I've provided something really of value for the community, I'm not going to start pushing or start a wider distribution campaign. But the idea is to stretch it over a long period of time to allow as many people as possible to become part of a community, rather than it being 1,000 transactions in a window. So literally one of the last ledger sequences then on my live little monitor I've got here showed 1,104 transactions in a 3-second window. So that's just going to be a massive airdrop, and someone's missing out there. Instead of spreading that over a good chunk of time to as many people as possible, we're currently just throwing it at people and hoping it sticks.
Did you want me to ask a question, Palace?
Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah, go for it.
So I've had to, just so you're aware, I've had to switch handles. My personal account, I don't know what Andy said, but I got a laptop in front of me and I had some AI on, said something, and it activated while the space was on and started doing all these analytics, and it cut me off of my handles. So luckily, and that's why I put 2 handles on now, because I'm usually doing something at the same time. So sorry about that. That's why my face isn't on at the moment. So I wanted to ask Andy on the app itself. So it sounds like you're going to come up with some robust features that will apply some, or you could say, integrity into what different assets are doing by applying a white paper, website, team, and stuff like that. Is there a consideration to maybe have the XRMine asset as a fractional payment to unlock that information?
Well, one of the key things that I have built in at the moment, but I have kind of disabled it, is to kind of access the platform. It is going to be a case where you burn some XRMine tokens. It's not there to kind of start really taking away value from people because they want to enter. It's more of a like anti-spam mechanism. And XRMine tokens are going to work in a certain few ways, so it's going to allow for as many people to gain access as possible. I am working on quite a few different concepts, so I want to try and decentralize as much as possible in terms of how other people could get listed. But there's a governance issue with that, and I think Dan kind of mentioned it last week, where you don't want to be in control of someone else's asset and being the one personally responsible for that. And I kind of really need to get that belt in, so I'm playing with hooks at the moment on Zahao, and it looks promising over there, but whether that ever comes to mainnet, we'll have to see.
Oh, with logical transactions with hooks. Oh, incredible. I don't find it not here.
It's absolutely brilliant. I've been playing around just the last few days, and I could effectively build everything I've wanted to build for a while with hooks. But obviously that's a bit of a learning curve as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hooks myself. So I think it's a mistake that it's not on the XRP ledger now. I would guess the reason is to do with the scalability with hooks. We have some features actually that we've developed that I found could be exploited with hooks in a way. So I don't know the reason why Ripple are not fully on side of it yet, but I'm sure they're seeing stuff which the public haven't maybe picked up on. And that's why they're actually on about doing their own sort of version. So that, in other words, it's an indirect way of saying, yeah, we can see there could be an issue with this. We need to see if we can get around it, is what I think. But yeah, with what we see Wendy's doing with hooks on Zahar, it should have come onto mainnet. Really, it should have come onto mainnet. We should have just broke it because you can do so much more. And with what you're doing with XRMine, it's prime for what you're doing.
Well, that's it. I mean, I have kind of been jumping down a rabbit hole with Zahar recently, and I still need to explore Evernode because I believe that there's some sort of connection there where you can run the XRPL and Zahar in tandem with an Evernode. And then you can ping the two between each other and submit transactions, and it's really clever stuff. And I think that might remove it from the need of it being on mainnet. As cool as it would be on there may be different mechanics that we can put on mainnet that help support that, like batch, and there was token escrows is another big one. One of the main things that I am trying to do with this push and everything that I'm building is to try and get closer to being able to experiment with mainnet. It's kind of the drive, and especially for this year, I'm trying to push very hard to get some solid infrastructure in, so I can do my own testing and seeing what I can come up with.
Yeah, coding on it is actually generally, if you're doing something basic, it's fairly basic. If you're doing something complex, it gets complex very, very quickly, and can be a bit of a headache. So when do we expect to see the XRMine app in the sort of alpha, primary, good to go public stage? You might have mentioned it, and I did cut off, so apologies if I'm making you repeat something.
So it is certainly in the works at the moment, and a lot more features are coming to that. So there's effectively going to be a ranking system. It's going to very clearly display what kind of burn rates you're at. It's also going to have quite a few other things, clean up the interface. I'm going to kind of go all out to try and see whether we can squeeze this at some future reference to an X app. Because I believe that a lot of people are just using Zaman now anyway to do all of the transactions. I know you have multiple different ways, but then do you have different listings across different networks? Is that what the case is with Fusion?
Well, at the moment we're only have public the XRPL capability. We deliberately haven't put other networks on. Because I suppose, to put simply, when we combine with other networks, we're not doing it the same way as you'd imagine, the way other platforms do it. We're doing it in a more unique way. So we want more XRPL features online, so it's easier to tie the strings together. If we opened up the Ethereum one like right now, it would be more of a pain rather than us doing some other features later. So, but yeah, similar.
Yeah, it's one of the things I found when I was exploring early on. It gets very messy when you start trying to deal with other chains. And XRPL just seems to be the easiest one, and it just clicks straight away. So obviously with the low fees, speed, everything, it just makes so much more sense.
So can I ask if you say that there's a potential for you to burn your tokens. So does that mean that you are blackholed now already?
No, that's a really good question, Les. So I intentionally didn't black hole the account because, one, I'm still very much in a development phase, and two, we have seen that a lot of the people like Dan, unfortunately, who minted very early and was quick out the blocks, we all blackholed their accounts and now had to make additional tokens to try and compensate for the lack of account setting and things like that. Because there's a burn rate within our platform, there may at some point be a need to issue more tokens, and it would cause more headaches very far down the line if we then needed to create another asset and merge everything over. So it's intentionally not black holed at the moment. There is no intention at all to create any more tokens, and I'm very much about the decentralization of everything. So if there was any consideration further forward down the line of creating more tokens, then that'll be an open discussion and some sort of consensus would be reached.
I've done mergers before, Andy. God, they are a headache, mate. Brace yourself if you do it.
Yeah, so like I say, because it's not black hole, I'm not stuck in that at the moment. So I have still got that option open, and there is some sort of interoperability that you could do with, like I say, I'm exploring Sahara. You could burn on one and mint on the other to kind of create a platform, maybe on both chains. That's just wild speculation at the moment. But the decentralization of a lot of the core parts of the app is what I'm striving to get to, and that's when the main will come out. And then after that, it's distribution. I have always had out there that there is going to be an IDO, but that will only come with the main release. Mainly because I don't want to be sat on loads of additional tokens that aren't allocated for public. Send all those assets out to people and then push it into the market. It don't morally sit right with me.
So I'm sure Dan will correct me if I am wrong in saying so, but I do believe there's one use case for your token already. XRMine can be used to buy and sell an NFT that you create. So that's one use case for your token already.
Yeah.
Where would I go to find out a bit more about your project? Have you got loads of social handles set up like Telegram and Twitter and stuff?
So obviously we've got the Twitter handle here, and in all honesty, it is mainly the Twitter handle. I'm in the process of setting up Discords and everything like that, but as a one-man band, I mean, it's incredibly difficult to keep up with all the code and everything that I'm running through, and get the marketing done and everything like that. But I am pushing it. It's not going to stop me that I am on my own. I've got some really good people, so I'm part of a local dev community that's named Mad Labs. They're pushing for new young people to get into development all the time, and I've been supporting them, volunteering while I've been on this journey. It's quite hard to find people who are interested. It's one of the biggest challenges that I've found. So instead of running out to random conferences, I have kind of set a framework this year where I'm only going to blockchain events. So there's one down in London at the end of the month, and I'm hoping to be able to take one of my little ledger prototypes down if all the parts arrive in time.
Awesome. What event's that?
So XRPL Commons is hosting an event. I believe it's the 30th of January.
Daniel?
So
That's my birthday.
Sorry, in the foot. I didn't know. Normally we would try and go to some events locally. I didn't know Palace. All right, I'm sorry. It's the first I've heard of it. I'll look at it.
XRMine, I'll speak to Daniel and he'll sort out our tickets and we'll meet you there.
yeah, definitely get onto that because I just need to meet more people. I got out to some local events, but they all seem to be very much Ethereum and Solana people.
I was wondering if you went to that event that they held in Manchester. It was doing the rounds on Twitter. I don't know if it was held in Moss Side or Hume, but it was a tech event there that's been going on. I don't know if it was called Northwards. I'm not too sure. But I don't know if you went to that.
I've been going to loads of events recently. So there's a Manchester Blockchain Alliance, and they've been hosting events at Circle Square in Manchester, which is like the tech hub.
I know Circle Square. I scaffolded Circle Square, funnily enough, on Oxford Road. Yeah, I know it well.
Yeah, so all the tech stuff happens there. So I've been up to AI events and all that kind of stuff. It's been a really fun year, but yeah, I'm dedicating everything to like XRP, mainly events. There is a Manchester blockchain one earlier than that. I think it's the 28th. I go and just talk to them about the XRPL and wind them up a bit because they're all ETH boys, very hardcore maxis.
I think that's what it was called, Manchester Coders. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
There's like North Coders.
North Coders, that's exactly that. Yeah, my mistake. North Coders, that's it.
North Coders is a really good one, and I know a lot of people who are on their boot camps at the moment. I've done a few myself. They are quite really good guys, but they're all very much like, let's rush you into employment. We've got a junior developer role for you. Let's jump onto this, and then the guidance towards the corporate system, it really niggles me. I've been trying to introduce people to blockchain technology, trying to share how it all works, and it kind of falls on flat irons, which is a shame, really.
Do you know, I think we're in a bit of a world with cryptocurrency where there's only an understanding to use it as a tradable asset. And I think, so what I mean by that is we don't look to use it beyond anything other than trading, generally, or something, like simple rewards and stuff like that. So, I've been seeing what you're doing. And there's a big push on so things that are involved with crypto are usually very hypey. A lot of, especially when I was doing some stuff with Ethereum guys a few years ago, it was right. We're gonna start a project. Right, first thing, marketing. Like, hang on a minute, shouldn't we consider development? Developing something first. And I don't know how big it goes, but with what you're saying, I imagine it's probably something similar. It's like, right, let's start a cryptocurrency, and we're just going to have a cryptocurrency that's used for buying and selling, and we're going to promote it like crazy, and it's going to represent us. And there is a lot of that, and I would have thought over the years we would have kind of grown out of it, but I don't think we have. And then obviously this year, as an example, with First Ledger launching on the XRPL, it's another platform to trade on. We haven't broken the seal to go, hang on, should we try and do something beyond that, to bring in more use case? And that's one of the reasons why we do so much work on Fusion, is to apply that for everyone on the XRPL if they want to use it. But yeah, I'd imagine that was probably the kind of conversation you was having where they were trying to bring developers in, where everyone just sort of focused on the trade aspect, or building some sort of exchange, or applying some sort of construction to a DEX or a UI for a DEX. And it's like, we really need to push past that. And I'm hoping over the next few years we do get that way, because it'd be great to see cryptocurrency flourish beyond us just buying and selling and pissing off people who are holding for a bear market because they just joined at the top of a 340 XRP or something. Really need to push past it. But yeah, I that's what I see a lot of. I don't know if it's the same on your side, but generally it's people, when they want to start something in crypto, it's literally, we just need to promote the hell out of it, and we need lots of hype. And it's like, well, we can be more.
Yeah, I mean, when I first came into it, in all honesty, it was the 2021 bear market, a bull market, you say, and it was very much hype-led, and people were pushing marketing, pushing out stuff that was never going to exist, and just dumping it on communities through these airdrops. And it's kind of what, I mean, it's been a long journey, but it's one of the things that I've been trying to, I don't want to say stop from happening. An airdrop is an awesome tool. I will be using them myself. But if we can stretch out this distribution, it opens up a lot more of inclusivity to it. But like you just touched on, Dan, it does need to take it away a bit more from exchanges and platforms, numbers, blah, blah, blah. If you do look at XRMine, one of the things that you may realise is there's no percentages, there's no prices, there's no charts, there's nothing like that. I wanted to try and remove that scary element to it, because I believe in some ways that's probably one of the biggest barriers, because it looks like a stock exchange, even though we're moving pictures around and memes and all that kind of stuff. It's quite a hostile thing to someone who has no idea and they're about to put money into this. So there is a couple of things where, I mean, I had ideas for yourself, Dan, and I probably shouldn't mention them without my wife.
we can speak in private if you want.
So, I mean, there is one thing. I mean, I am in the process of prototyping a little device at the moment that's effectively a wearable that will monitor your XRPL count on the go. So if you're out and about and you're walking around, you receive a transaction, you can literally just look at this little device that's connected to your hotspot, and it'll tell you what the transaction is. And there's a funky little screensaver kind of thing. It has the transactions that display on a live basis. So my thoughts of that, and trying to just tie in what you were saying there, Dan, is that I kind of see the NFT marketplace at some point merging with some sort of receipt kind of system. And it's something I've mentioned a few times but never really dug into myself, and kind of having a way to, I think you've got physicals listed on Fusion. Not sure entirely how you do it, but the concept of it being that if everything you had bought to date had gone as a receipt, as an NFT, they would forever be in your wallet. They would forever be linked to yourself. You'd imagine knowing every single purchase that you'd ever made, because it's all there in your wallet and you could read it at any time.
Well, you've got this. So one thing you've got with that is the ledger automatically does, in its own way, is a series of receipts as well, but it's a transparent version. Yeah. So it does already hold that just by doing a simple transaction. Like if I was to just send Live Free over there some crypto, it's on the public ledger, and then that essentially is the receipt. With physical items, though, of NFTs, now that's where it gets a little bit tasty. There's a lot of people out there who do want to sell physical items as NFTs that then deliver the physical item, and it can be a little bit difficult sometimes to validate the person you're talking to does own the wallet address. So that's probably an area which is more unique to focus on, especially maybe a business model. As an example, actually, so one way we had around it with Fusion is to make sure when we have the direct messenger on, that the only people who can contact you are the people that own your NFT. Because there's loads of different ways to communicate with people already on social media. Very easy, actually, on all kinds of social platforms. So why don't we, in essence, we could channel ours where you can select that only the owners of NFTs can message you, and then that way you've never got to validate someone owns an NFT. The second they send you a message, you'll be able to see what they own. And then when that comes to physical items, it makes it a lot easier to do delivery. So that's kind of one way. And I actually had a conversation with Fruition Productions not long ago, and they wanted to do the same thing. So they got something physical coming out related to their NFTs, and they wanted to. They had all these different ways of validating, and it is difficult on the XRPL because we do have people who would contact them to pretend that they own one of their NFTs, to say, yeah, this is my address, I would like this physical object that you're giving to NFT owners, and unless you can 100% validate, it's a shame Willie isn't here actually, because I think we come up with like 3 or 4 different ways of doing it a few months ago. That is a gap, if you like, in the market, or something we don't fully have online. That would be something. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just jumping over you there. It would be a fascinating thing if that kind of stuff actually came online. It's one of the things I was just contemplating myself, is the validation. And like you say, anyone could pose as said person. So it will be interesting to see in the future developments in that area. But yeah,
that's how early all this stuff is. It's not just our chain. It's, there's all kinds of complications on other chains. Even smart contracts on other chains are not, unless they've been thoroughly checked over and audited, they're not 100%. And that's why you see some wallets on other chains get their wallets drained. You would never have heard of anyone on the XRPL have their Sum wallet drained. You've probably had someone say, oh, I've got some crypto missing, and they've probably signed a transaction they probably shouldn't have done. But you will not find anyone that's gone, oh, my wallet on Zarman has been drained. And that's essentially just because you have to sign for everything, because we don't have a layer 2. And that's why all the layer 2s have these problems. And it's the same with exchanges. Exchanges who have had funds taken out of, generally, like 99% of the time, it's an inside job. It doesn't matter what they say on the media. It's generally someone inside the exchange has literally just fucking took all their funds and gone, see you later. But you can't do that on the XRPL at the moment. And maybe that was something that was detected with Ripple and hooks. Is there a way to exploit someone's wallet with this new hook capability that they're not letting out public? We don't know. I don't know. But yeah.
No, it's very early. There could be some exploits, but we'll never know. I
have had to get this down. I've had to check over future XLS protocols that ain't even on the network yet for some stuff that we already have online, just in case. And hooks came up. It came up on 2, on a feature we don't have public yet, on a protocol that isn't even on yet. And I found 2 possible exploitations for it. So it can be complex. I know we have a validation system. I think I validated your profile on Fusion the other day.
Got that.
Yeah, that alone, as an example. So with you building your app, you have to go over everything with a fine tooth comb, really. And I know that feeling, because when we went over the validation system, we found loads of potential holes, or if we had a malware attack on the UI, what would that do? How could they break through our firewalls, etc.? And we went through like a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, after months of preparation, we only found 2 bugs after it went live, which Mr. Live Free helped out. Actually, he found one that I didn't even notice.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons why the beta is out at the moment, in all honesty, because I kind of wanted to throw it out in a live environment to see what happens. And so far, I mean, it's been up for like just over 2 months now. I do have some stats here that I haven't ran through. So it's completed about 40,000 transactions. We've been distributing about 7 different assets. The most popular one at the moment, other than XRMine itself, is Expectar, with over almost 3,000 transactions that have been sent out. And we have been distributing on average about 608 transactions a day. So things are going well. I mean, I threw it there out to the wolves to see what would happen, and touch wood, we're looking good.
Good. It must be a little bit stressful sometimes when you're doing it on your own. But sometimes it must get you down, especially if you've got a busy day. It must be tough.
In all honesty, I thrive on a challenge. I'm a massive problem solver, so I can create 1,000,001 problems for myself and keep myself busy all the time. One of the things that I found really well is, because I'm playing around with effectively web applications on the sideline and playing with Internet of Things. So even though I am kind of taking a break from one core tech stack, I'm doing something that's really enjoyable on the other hand. And especially during these winter months, there's nothing better than when the weather turns to get out there in the open air and try and figure out things. I regularly go camping. I'm up in the hills all the time, especially when you need to clear your head, because sometimes you can get really stuck on a problem. And at that point, sometimes you've just got to step away, possibly learn something a little bit different, and then come back to it. And I have done that many times along the way with XRMine itself. But it's where it's needed to be for a long time now. It's been in many different progressions. I kind of know where it's going forwards. And once I incorporate some of the key elements, the decentralized bits that I really need to get in there, it'd be really interesting to see what happens next.
Is there, so with what you have with XRMine, you've obviously you've got a good concept coming where you want to really bring some information to the ecosystem for people to come and have a look at that, and delivering rewards. Is there anything else that you're thinking of doing in the future over the time you've been building it? Is there anything you've gone, actually I think I might actually have a go at this? Is it just the XRMine app we're to see, or do you have any future aspirations for anything else?
Well, obviously there's the NFT integrations, and I'd like to open them up to anyone whose asset was on the platform. So obviously that opens up a massive range of things. I am really interested, like yourselves, in Expectar and the awesome things that they're doing. I've not fully dived into 3D development yet, and I'd really like to continue this trend of learning and stepping into new things. And I think I could really create some kind of fun game within the Expectarverse. It's maybe a bit of a novel approach. There's ideas there, but it's not fully worked out. But I'm a man of many different ideas, and it just keeps changing all the time. So I do apologise for that. But it's just pushing forward. Every time I learn something new, I try and incorporate the XRPL in some different way. I am actually speaking to a team very close to us that is dealing with the metaverse, and I'm excited to try and jump in and help them on their back end to see what they can do with their integration. So there's going to be a lot more of branching out, trying to help other people and see what we can do to really push everything forward, and that's kind of what the main aim is, with having this onboarding tool in the background that I could kind of help people see what's going on, but then kind of have some release that they've got all the information there to try and stay safe, and if they go further than that, then that's their risk, if that makes sense. It's one of the kind of key things that I want to bring in with XRMine, and if it doesn't go any further than that and it's just there as an onboarding tool, I'm quite happy with that. It's just about building something of value for the community.
I take it you probably picked up, we recently partnered with Expectar. Going for, I'm going to guess you.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I've been following those guys and everything you guys have been doing for a long time now. It's what's drove me to build what I've been building, seeing what you guys have built, and you've done an awesome job. I'd love to know what your plans are with Expectar, though, because that would be really interesting.
Well, I tell you what, I may as well just tell you while we're on this space, Andy, seeing as I haven't told anyone yet. So,
go on, drop it.
It will be beneficial for you. It will be beneficial for us. It will be beneficial for everyone that's on this space. To put simply, what we're doing is we are incorporating 3D digital objects and avatars for people to make themselves, and then pulling them into Expectar. We'll be producing the capability for people to, if you have an avatar, for example, let's say XRMine has its own character, yeah, and you go, I want to have this character in a metaverse. You can pull that 3D file onto Fusion, create it into an NFT, and then you don't have to sell the NFT. You can own the NFT, and then go into Expectar as that 3D character, as exactly that 3D character. But it's a bit more than that. It's not just there. It will be any 3D ecosystem that's connected to the XRP ledger. So anywhere where you connect to, as long as you own an NFT of an avatar, might be even be an object, a car, a balloon, a ball, I don't know, it could be anything, you would be able to pull it into that ecosystem. So us working with Expector, while they're focusing on land and building out their Expectorverse and their city, we're going to be providing the capability for anyone, and I mean anyone, to be able to mint 3D objects and pull them into the metaverse. So what does that come with? It comes with some interaction as well. So if there's like guns, they're going to need to fire bullets, would need to speak to obviously Expector about that, because it's a bit of an addition as opposed to just having the gun. And that's why we're partnered. So it's really big for everyone. They don't have to buy 3D NFTs off us to use them in there. They can create their own. So anything that you want to do with XRMine, and this is why Fusion's quite good for it as well. If you had a 3D object you wanted to pull into the metaverse or trade it with any of your community or any external communities, you'll also be able to trade that in XRMine, and then they use that 3D object. It's not just metaverses; it's 3D ecosystems. So even a basic video game that's connected to the XRPL, if the creators allow it, we'd be able to pull the NFTs into their exact game. So that's why we're partnered. That's the stuff we're doing in development.
That sounds really exciting. I was on the space last week with BMAC, the boat club.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And you obviously mentioned then about minting a certain file type to have that implementation in place. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Like if you can then hold that asset within your wallet and move between different metaverses and, like you say, through games or anything like that, then you could very easily spin up a few different things to support the community that's supporting you. It's a really good idea, Dan. Love the incentive there.
It is good because it's really beneficial for just anyone. So I spoke to XWar recently. They're on the fence 50-50 about it now. They're obviously hosted in Russia, so the language barrier is there, but they're aware of it, and they might implement it with their game. I got Artie. She's contacting Equilibrium. I know they do 3D games, so we'll be looking to see if they can pull the NFTs in, and we're going to assist with the development of that. So we're going to assist with coding it for them to be able to do it. So then you yourself, Andy, can come up with XRMine 3D kit, mint it, sell it, or use it yourself in these different ecosystems. So that's where we're going with it. So that's why the partnership's so big. There's a lot more to it than that as well. But from our perspective, we provide the capability for all currencies. So, you don't have to worry about building an NFT exchange with your token to run on it. It's already there, and you can focus on 3D objects and stuff, and trade them that way. And that's just our way of trying to support the XRP ledger. But it is fairly new. Some chains have implemented a level of this to a degree. We're going to do it to quite a larger interoperability scale. So this could essentially slingshot Expector to be the best metaverse of all chains, because they could allow all NFTs made by this specific file to be used in their platform. So it's incredibly huge, but it's not just a benefit for us, it's a benefit for XRPL projects as well, and they can literally use this without having to ask permission from us. They don't need our permission. They can just connect to the platform and do it, and then, continue on. It's sort of a phase of jumping into an enhancement of the way we perceive NFTs. We're going a little step forward, and we're going to try and bring everyone with us as we go.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely brilliant, Dad. It's hard to get your head around that you're introducing that kind of capability, because just being able to import your objects anywhere with you, that's incredibly powerful stuff. I do believe Expector is definitely heading on that way to be possibly one of the first metaverses that actually breaks through. I was incredibly upset the other month when I went to an event, and one of the first conference slides was "the metaverse is dead." I just wanted to literally stand up and say, just literally go and jump on Expector. If no one's been on it yet, seriously jump on there, download the beta, have a quick run around. It's so much fun. I've spent a bit of time in there. Yeah, the partnership sounds absolutely brilliant. I've considered it myself, and I am, like I say, there is a local metaverse team I'm trying to help out at the moment, and I might have to nudge you offline, Dan, if I get stuck, because they're struggling with the blockchain side of it. Which
It's usually the common problem, to be honest. We struggle with the blockchain side all the fucking time.
yeah, everyone does, honestly.
I remember about was it 2 years ago? It was in 2023, I think it was January. We turned on because the capability for an NFT to be traded in any currency didn't exist. I mean, we were the first ones to turn that on, and the amount of problems that we come across was horrendous. Right, and I remember a guy said to me, "Don't you do any testing?" And I was like, he direct messaged me, "Look, couldn't you test it out a bit?" And I was like, do you know what? we're getting problems we didn't even know existed, and there's no manual to go off here. All right, so bear with me while we're trying to figure it out. But no one's done this yet, and it's going to be a little bit like that with this new NFT minting type. I think there'll be a lot of 3D designers who'll be interested in it. I think a lot will come in, and it could be a sort of a weird NFT bull run where it's like people only want to own 3D objects now. And I'm okay with any kind of NFT. If it's something good, trade it. No bother. But I think there's going to be a desire where it's like, hang on, I really want to own an avatar of myself, or I want to own an avatar of Live Free or Wesley, and I want to run around in a game being Wesley, or anyone else like Raylene.
You don't want to do that, man.
Snowman Club. I want to run around as the
100% it's happening. I can see that. I want to run around as some of you guys. That'd be funny.
I was talking to Artie about this a couple of days ago, and I was like, if you have avatars of projects, and you've got, a couple of metaverses. I'm on a call with VerseX actually after this, and you start bringing in projects as avatars. You could have a little war in a metaverse. If you like, right, Snowman Club, VRAE Capital, right, let's go, get your avatars on. You just have a fucking punch up, and that's where the metaverse all of a sudden doesn't die anymore. That's where it's like, hang on, we could really have some fun. And then you're meeting new people, and you're running around all these different designs and using all these objects. So the problem is it's limitless as well, which is kind of crazy, because we're sitting down at the moment, we're going over something, we call it a catalogue. A couple of the panel was on the call, and there is no limit to where you go with it. At the moment, we only look at the metaverse, where you look at it as something similar to the real world, buildings, cars, roads, paths. That's how we look at it. You wait till someone starts building a metaverse that's a whole different style of being in a 3D environment. Why do you have to have gravity? Or it could be anything, spaceships, whatever. You could do anything, and it just becomes limitless. And I think there could be a real drive for 3D designers. But our main effort with it as DPMF was to make sure that we bring in projects such as yourself, as XRMine, because with you building the application, you're going to want to get involved in that stuff and probably want to utilize your currency. Like you said earlier, you're looking at doing some 3D design. 3D design isn't too difficult. It takes a couple of years to master it, but to actually do it, if you're actually building 3D objects, I wanted to make sure that you would be able to use your own currency and then use them in these places as well. That was our aim, and we can do that. So that's why there's the partnership. So we're assisting with other XRPL projects, so you guys can focus on the main stuff. You guys can focus on the main stuff that you're doing, and we just have that arm of support where maybe you could jump in this 3D ecosystem and do some of this or do some of that. So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the consensuses that I've reached across the chain, no doubt. It's one of the, I don't know about yourself, it's one of the reasons why I've stuck around with the XRPL for so long. Like, everyone is quite banded together and everyone's trying to push for the same kind of cause. And it's just that we haven't kind of got there yet with the with what I'm trying to build, I am trying to work on the fundamentals of things. You're thinking much further ahead, and it's brilliant what you guys have come up with and where we're at with everything now. I mean, someone coming in today has so many options available to them that wasn't available when I first started. But I'm trying to focus on payments and trusts like that, and that kind of whole first interaction with the ecosystem, and then bringing them to places like yourselves who are bringing those innovations in that are exciting, especially for someone who's interested in possibly taking a leap into technology or starting to discover these new things. And all of a sudden, they could have their own issued asset, they could have their own 3D models, they could do all these things. Expect is already live. You could do your artwork on Fusion. There's so much really good stuff out there, and the only thing I'm trying to do is promote it, get some engagement going, and filter things around a little.
Absolutely. And that's what these spaces are all about, really, is community getting together and talking about stuff that's going on. Tonight's episode of is brought to you by Fusion XIO, the only place where you can buy and sell using any asset. So there are incredible developments happening, and we just need to sort of keep up pace and share ideas and thoughts and see how we can all grow sort of together, the community. So I'm not sure if you've listened to previous episodes, Andy, but basically every project that we get on, we ask them a question.
I'm pretty sure he was there last week.
Oh,
He knows the rules.
Does he reckon he knows the question already? Well,
I have a funny feeling. Yes, I do.
Andy, you've got to think of a question that we can put to the next project. So while you're thinking of a question, Wes has got the question from last week. Wes, open up the mic.
Hello. Yeah.
The last
I've just got to get it. I've just got to find it. That's all. Just one moment. Oh, yes, I have. And funnily enough, it really ties in with the conversation tonight.
They always do. They do. So weird.
Yeah, because we've been talking a lot about interoperability, cross-chain support, and this is what the question was about, interoperability. And it's also from a development team that are working within the metaverse. I think they're working closely, building yachts. They're called the Yacht Club. And this was the question. And it is, excuse me, I'll just get it right here. So, how are you pioneering interoperability? How do you pioneer that? And how do you create a trusted ecosystem that entices that interoperability? So we're talking about cross-chain, different networks, communicating with different networks, the sharing the data, scalability. Interoperability is important for devs who want to utilize unique features of each blockchain. So I think the question was, how are you trying to utilize that?
So one of my things is I'm trying to bring everything together, trying to build like not a centralized place, but more of a decentralized place where everyone can go to and actually figure out what's going on in ecosystems. It could branch out between different chains, but I think we've got really good things just happening here on the XRPL, especially with the sidechain action, and that could lead to obviously bigger, better things. I'm excited about everything that's going on at the moment and the ways that we could intermingle with NFTs, with physical digital items and carry them wherever we're going. I think that we are really at the very footstep of all of this, and it can only get bigger from where it is now. And just the passionate guys like Dan and everyone, like even myself, building, it's only going to push things forward. Things are going to get better. Things are going to get easier. And I really look forward to how everything's going to go.
Good answer. Fantastic answer. But the real question is, have you got the question for the project next week now?
So we don't know about the project next week, do we?
No, you don't.
Not even sure if we do. No, I'm joking. Live Free has a very strict diary. He is very good at administrating for who's on a weekly basis. I can't remember who it is, though. And we're not
talking about administrating. Wes, are you ready with a pen and paper?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm all good to go. Yeah.
Go for it, Andy.
Okay. So what we're going to say is, what do you believe the biggest challenges are to adoption and onboarding? Because obviously that's my jam. I'd love to know what their ideas are on that. What do they believe the biggest challenges are to adoption and onboarding? Everyone would love to know the answer to that.
That is a good question, Ashley.
That is a great question and easy to write down as well for a change.
Andy, what do you think the biggest barriers are?
I think communication. I think, like I've said a few times, when you're mentioning the word blockchain and crypto, it's very scary at the moment. I think the agenda has been a fear campaign for quite a long time. And one of the things when I was early getting into this is I was looking for this fear factor around a new technology that then all of a sudden, it just, with a flip of a switch, everyone has to start using it. People don't know that they're now using it, but they're using it every single day of their life, and it's intermingled so well that they don't even know they're using it. So I think when we get to that point, and hopefully we can get there soon, we're going to see a wave of people coming in, and I'm trying to get at the forefront because I do see a bit of an issue with we've got a digital inclusion issue at the moment, but now we're throwing a digital financial inclusion problem there with people rushing onto stuff. So it's one of the reasons why I'm trying to get where I am, trying to get into a position where I could help people when those floodgates may open.
Good. Yeah, no, I can see that. So I personally think the biggest barrier is that there isn't many mainstream companies using blockchain. So say, for instance, Coca-Cola. They're not, you know, if there was a main company presence using blockchain, people would flood onto it. And that's what we were missing. That's why I don't think we got the adoption that really it needs.
I have a funny feeling that we may see that sooner rather than later, though, as people are putting a lot of the biggest teams at the moment, they're looking at immersive technologies blended with AI. And if we look at like an immersive technology stack, the metaverse, with the payment rails that XRPL are built, I mean, it's a really good opportunity for a business to possibly even shut down a store, go fully digital, really embrace the technology. And you've made a really good point there. When we see that happen, the sky's the limit at that point, I believe.
I can tell you this for a fact. You'll like to know this. In London, there is application.
Is there anything that we haven't covered tonight about XRMine that you think?
Palace, I think you weren't here. I think you're probably not listening to Daniel. He was talking. I think the same issue is happening to you, like happened to me last week.
I can't hear Daniel at all.
Okay.
Can you? That's all right. It wasn't for you anyway. Can you hear me, Andy?
Oh yeah, don't worry.
He was slagging you off, Palace. Dan has been saying loads of bad shit about you, then, mate. Honestly, that was pretty bad. That Dan, I can't believe
he is the worst co-host.
He also is ripping into Velo too. So it's good that you don't hear it right now.
I just want to say this real quick because
No, I really can't hear Daniel at all.
Okay, okay. He's gonna Palace. Daniel's gonna talk right now. We'll give you a heads up when he's done.
Yeah. Yes, please. I wanted to let you know that I do know in London, definitely there are applications being developed which will involve the XRP ledger, which people won't know they're using it. There is stuff going on where that's going to happen, and it can be done. Just so you're aware.
I know it's all there. It's all teetering in the background. It just seems like we are just waiting for this one moment where something takes a leap of faith that's kind of needed, and then it kind of opens the door to everything. But they all very much seem set in the way at the moment, but they are trying to embrace newer technologies. Blockchain may have fallen off a cliff with the scare campaign, but I believe it'll probably come back around, especially when we merge everything together. It's very exciting.
Well, you know what? Once Trump gets in, which is just tomorrow, actually, there's
Tomorrow.
going to be
Oh
yeah
shit!
tomorrow's the official inauguration for President Trump. So I think once he gets in, I think we're going to see a lot of these big corporations not be so afraid because of the fear tactics we were talking about earlier. Also, I think we're going to see a lot more on ramping from banks because a lot of those banks we're having issues with banks on ramping and being able to. I mean, it's one thing to on ramp, but really you want also to be able to off ramp because you want to take your profits
Crucial.
back to the bank. Yeah, absolutely. But I think a lot of that also will be if these banks can facilitate the on ramp and off ramps, it will open up a whole new world for a lot of these people that really didn't know too much about it. But now that actually Trump has his Trump coin, or at least it was created by Barron Trump supposedly, it's going to bring a lot more
eyes on crypto.
eyes on crypto. Exactly, that's the correct word. Eyes on crypto, because everybody's listening to what Trump is saying, whether you like him or not. They still have their eyes on Trump, and it's going to come out. Oh, he's got a Trump coin. Oh, he's got crypto. It can't be that bad if he's if he's got his own crypto coin. So I think that's going to help a lot. And Andy, can you review very quickly again your airdrop for XRMine? I think I got a little confused, and maybe some of the listeners may have gotten confused. Can you talk very quickly about it? Can you just review that very fast?
Yeah, certainly. I don't think we did actually touch on airdrops really. Effectively, I'm trying to do things a little differently myself. I'm not really into distribution until I've built the platform out and we've got a main out there. I'm trying to think of different ways to support the project and grow it instead of immediately throwing tokens out there while we're still in this grey area where no one has a clue of what the best practice is. So the airdrop schedule is not defined at the moment, but I have got 60% allocated for public display, public supply. That will come hand in hand with an airdrop and with the distribution through the XRMine platform itself. And obviously when we get to the point where a main is being released and it's about to go, there will be an IDO period where we're releasing some of the developer funds that we've got allocated. So we're not then pushing them into a fully liquid market. Because I don't believe that when that point is reached that we should really be looking at the community to fund the project. We're certainly looking at different ways to get it going without having to take money out of the ecosystem, if that makes any sense at all. It's a bit of a backwards approach. It's not really heard of, but for myself, that's how I wanted to justify it. And I have got a few novel ways to kind of push things forward without immediately having to push the tokens out there and later regret something that I've done. I'm taking it very carefully. So at the moment there is no airdrop schedule. It's just once we've got a main out, that will all start getting released.
Now you also kind of mentioned airdropping other tokens. I guess is that did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, so at the moment that's what the platform is, especially in our beta period. So you could see them as airdrops. We're distributing other people's assets, very small amounts of them at a time. And in turn, hopefully, these people are coming back to your channels directly. You're seeing a bit of an umphing, people looking over your social, your thing. I mean, the other team, nobody's been reporting that. I did reach out to everyone like Dan, and I made everyone aware of what I was intending to do quite a long time ago when I started. But getting in touch with these teams, trying to figure out what they're doing when everyone's so busy trying to build, I've just thrown everything guns in, and we've got a certain amount of tokens that I've seen, the trustworthy within the community, and to kind of introduce people in an onboarding way, I kind of see all of these as a safe bet to it. So there is a bit of a distribution thing happening through the beta platform. I'd encourage anyone to go on there, have a look at it yourself. If you've got any recommendations, feel free to throw them back at us. Very much in a development stage, but we are pushing towards a main release. and we've got some novel concepts to try and bring in some revenue without immediately getting onto that distribution path.
Well, sorry, Liffrey, go ahead. Was you
it was just one more thing. Do you see XRMine being slight competition to projects like Tipper, or is just a very, very, edge of it, and then you're going to create a different type of environment, shall we say, or project?
So I will throw out there, very much like Tipper, I will say the inspiration in some ways came from a mixture of a few different platforms. However, I wanted to build it in a different way. So not directly competing with Tipper, because Tipper does an amazing job. They've got so many different people onboarded now, especially in the last 6 months for them. Their growth has been incredible, and hats off to Julian and the team there. I've spoken to them a few times. They've done incredibly well. But mine was more of the onboarding process is really difficult, and I wanted to try and make that transaction smooth. I wanted to make it in a way that someone could easily feel like they've become part of a community without having to throw loads of money at it. Like it's sunk in a hole. They have no idea what they're doing, but they've been told this meme coin's the best thing in the world, thrown everything into it, and realised that probably wasn't the best way to do it. The other inspiration was ELS, formerly Treasury. Obviously, they've got a really good education platform, and through their education platform, they also offered like a rewarding service. So, in part, it's a blend of both of them. The concept is to have a group of listings of projects that are willing to kind of distribute their assets in a longer, more drawn-out kind of way to incentivize as many people as possible to join and be part of their community. We often say that we're very early at the moment, but because a lot of teams have already carried out their distribution campaign, you could argue a lot of people feel that they're too late, especially when they come across like teams like Tipper that have got these incentives purely for holders. It's a great platform, love Tipper. Don't get me wrong, but there is a bit of a gap there when people are first coming in. I now need to hold X amount so I can join this rewards pool. Instead of passive, like that kind of system is, mine's a bit more active, encouraging you to do a bit of exploration, enjoy what's going on, keep up to date with stuff, and then you'll earn these rewards that way. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like one of these things that, there's only so many times you can create a wheel. We're obviously going to be overlapping. Projects are going to be overlapping with certain things. So, and my question to you was not that like, well, you're copying from them. Absolutely not. My question was just to see, what kind of a difference, if there was there is going to be a difference. What kind of a difference is for your project, for your vision for your project in the future, as opposed to projects like Tipper and, like you said, like the Treasury drops and stuff like that. But yeah, absolutely, there's always going to be some overlap.
Yeah, I think one of the main differences for myself, though, is I do want to try and reach a stage of decentralization where I'm not fundamentally in control of the system, where anyone could kind of use it as their own onboarding tool. Anyone could add to the faucet with a bit more security than it's one team that holding everything. I believe there is, for myself, obviously the ecosystem and everything we're doing, it's all about decentralization. I won't be happy myself until I've built these into my application. So it's very much like Tipper, love what Tipper does, but I want to definitely develop a more decentralized way for people to list, for people to choose what's on the list, and to, what was the last one? The wallet itself, it can't be controlled by any one person. I don't know how that works yet. I've still got to come up with the concept. There will be a way around it, but when that is made, we'll have to see.
Awesome. So is there anything else that we should be covering about your project tonight that we haven't asked already?
I don't believe so. I think we've kind of covered everything there. I mean, like I said, there is the little portable devices that I'm making at the moment that I'll be able to show you down in London. I can obviously jump back up at a later date. But obviously prototyping with Internet of Things devices, bringing Internet of Value and Internet of Things together. I have found there have been a great talking point when I've been able to take these devices out to events. It has been able to take the kind of fear away from the element of blockchain technology. The really good conversation starter. You can monitor your accounts on the go, and it is going to be the kind of thing that I drive to get more infrastructure in place to support the ongoing development of XRMine. So they're going to be tied well and truly together, and in some ways incorporate an NFC kind of thing that may offer certain perks within the platform. But it's still very early days on that. Parts are very soon, though.
Can this device that you're talking about also be used like a wallet in the sense of can it do transactions, like if you want to pay for something at a shop or at a store, or is it only just to review your stuff as opposed to being able to be proactive and use it to pay?
So yeah. So obviously at the moment I'm very focusing on a very small device that I'm coining as a micro monitor. It just shows live transactions and shows the data of your own transactions. So you log in, it connects to a WebSocket, and it'll look for your wallet address that you've put in. To create a device where you're actually submitting payments, and it gets a little bit more tricky, you start integrating seed phrases and the security side of that. I have got something worked out, but I would need to speak to a bigger team to ensure the scalability and reliability of that. But it is something I have on the board in front of me. I can see it now. I could work on that. I could build a wallet viewer, but adding that payment functionality is taking it to a step where you're then having to put secrets and phrases into the wallet. At the moment, it's all done on an R address, so there's not that security side of it. So you basically connect to the device, connect it to a Wi-Fi, put your own wallet address in, and then whether you're creating an offer, whether you're receiving a payment, you're setting a trust line, the device notifies you in real time. So if you're out on the go and you're not next to anything, you don't want notification on your phone necessarily, you got this cool little device. It's a good talking point. It's showing live transactions, and as you're walking around, you can hear on what's going on in your account.
So tonight we're actually blessed by having XOJ Will in the audience. If you'd like to unmic your mic and join us, Will.
Absolutely, and I'll just start by saying I apologize. I was told it's at 2 p.m. CST, and for some reason I read 4 p.m. CST. So you have my sincerest apologies. I thought,
it's okay. We're still here. We're still here.
You guys you're like beasts. You're champions. I figured it had just started because I had just woke up and I'm like, oh, I made it great. Okay, everything's perfect. And then I look and I double check and I'm like, no, something's not right. And sure shit, it wasn't. So, yeah, they told me and I screwed it up, guys. But I did repost it originally, and I reposted it when I came in, hoping to, get people in here and talk about XRMine. I don't know much about XRMine, but I will say that the most fun I ever had in crypto is mining. I don't know why, but mining is fun. If you've ever done it, it's just fun. Especially if you work a job or you sleep. If you do sleeping, mining is fun. And the main reason is you go to sleep or you go to work and you come back and you're like, nice, I made money and I wasn't even doing this. And that's what's so cool about mining. Now, bridging mining between minted tokens is even better, because you don't get that experience. For a lot of these newer people in crypto that never got to experience mining, you don't even know that like how that all works and if that's a thing or not. But it's fun to passively make money. That's why they did staking. That's why they do airdrops over time. But on all of that, man, I would recommend staying away from giving away any tokens for free. I am the grand master of giving away tokens for free. I have years of experience giving away tokens for free and getting my ass kicked and repeatedly having it handed to me and putting in my own money to try to load balance that. So, yeah, make them work. Value coming from zero is incredibly difficult, right? And you'll get a lot of hype, you'll get a lot of buzz, but trust me, they're not interested. They literally just want to try to get it and sell it right back to whatever you've got it on, be it a DEX or an AMM. So yeah, make them work. Plus mining's fun.
Yeah, I like that. It's one of the things I noticed. There's not a lot for token support, so I appreciate you having up here. I can imagine it's hard. I know you're across many different chains as well. It's got to be difficult, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, you do the best you can, and it is what it is at the end of the day. But on the mining side, if you can, a brief, and you probably already went over this, so I'm the late kid asking for the explanation. So you can slap at me, or you can just tell me on a brief, what is the mining methodology?
I'll tell you right now, it's a play on the term mining, and you probably didn't expect that. Effectively, what we're doing is we're mining the data of projects. I'm sharing direct access to the channels of every project, and if this person then looks at these channels on a daily basis, they earn rewards and become part of that community instantly. There's a long way to go on that, but in a nutshell, you're mining the data effectively of the teams rather than we're processing loads of transactions and we've got to sort it out, wasting whatever type of electricity costs we are doing. I love the idea of concept of mining crypto, but considering it's such a wasteful resource effectively, I came to the XRPL, saw it wasn't here and thought, I'm having that. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, well, I don't know how that structurally works, but I'm sure that you've got it figured out and I just missed it. My recommendation, what I would want to do is do a double win if possible. Get unmineable.com's application, port that into a GUI, proxy loaded, so it's basically like you don't even know it's unmineable. Have everybody mining off of your address, mine something like Ethereum, turn that into direct value in XRP, and then with that, turn around and use those funds because they're all mining at your same configuration and settings, and turn that into XRP, pulling money out of the Ethereum ecosystem, bringing it into XRP, into XRMine.
Yeah, I'm going to have to think of that. That's a really good idea. That's a really good concept. I'm writing that one down, and I do apologise if I come at you 6 months down the line for sending me down a rabbit hole, buddy. I love that. Thank you.
Andy, where's your pen and paper? Like, where's? You should be scribbling that down as we're speaking. Like, the smoke should be coming off your pen.
Oh, it's already wrote down, don't worry. But like I said,
it's okay. I wrote it down as well.
It's 21st century.
Apparently these spaces are recorded, so they keep telling me, but that doesn't help. You need it wrote down in front of you.
So structurally speaking, unmineable.com will always mine like an Ethereum or a top tier current market value highest token, and then pay you out in whatever you want. XRP is on their list. So essentially, if you do the setup of the tool and then you basically put it into an app that skins over it, so it's the background, your app is the foreground, it'll be running. They can literally run your program. It's XRMine. They mine. It connects to your configurations, your wallet setup, and everybody is basically a computer then on that node set of who's mining for that address or wallet. And then they'll pay you out in XRP because they'll actually do the footwork of selling what your miners mine and then giving you a payout to directly whatever currency you ask for. From there, you just directly full port that right into XRP and XRMine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was wondering. Like the XRPL network is not a mining network. It's it's a proof of transaction, but you're going on Ethereum proof of stake. So how is that bridged? This is what I'm wondering. So if you're going on Ethereum, say, to do proof of stake mining, then how are you going to bridge that value back over to the XRPL?
So they do it essentially, but last I used it was Ethereum. They protocol switched. It then went to Ethereum Classic where the mining was hitting up.
Yeah.
The platform. Yeah. So the platform survived. And then what they do now, I believe, is whatever token is actually paying the most currently in the market for the utilization of CPU and crunching of numbers, meaning the miners are being paid the best, is where they direct their whole array of people mining. And then after that, you already in their site in your configurations get to select your wallet, whatever type of crypto you want. They do the selling of your mining into converting of the asset that you want. So you would just end up getting XRP.
Yeah. So is this consensus based then in that respect, in that network? Is that decided upon by nodes?
Yeah, of course, because it's mining. Yeah, it's mining. They're technically the ones being the consensus mechanism.
Right. So I'm just wondering, Andy. I knew it'd be great for you and XOs to talk. You definitely will unlock ideas for each other.
Oh, 100%. That's a really good one. One of the things that I've been trying to do is the interoperability bit. Like speaking to other people in the ecosystem is probably the best way I can possibly do that. So it is why one of the reasons this year is about reaching out, speaking to as many people as I can, and getting as many different thoughts and opinions as I can. And at the moment, the app's only out in a beta. There's so much stuff I could change and different ways I could work into it. And so I'm open to any suggestions out there. And I appreciate you jumping up and helping us.
I got more for you. So on interoperability, this is a big deal for Zoj because I went multi-chain and there just isn't real interoperability. And I was getting pissy because L1s were talking about it like it was the real deal. So I went to the sources. I went to Hoskinson. I went to XDC Quincy. I had conversations with these guys. I wrote a paper on it. And at the end of the day, it's not a thing. However, don't worry, because I'll have your answer by the end of this little saying here. So I talked to them, and basically because there's too many different variations in the protocols, that interoperability directly between them isn't a thing. And then also you end up with spaghetti code. If you add too much, it slows down your blockchain, and L1s may die off, and then you have this code that you have to go in and figure out how to pull out the wiring. And, it's like a vehicle's wiring harness, basically. You got to trace down. It gets really messy. At the end of the day, they don't have any really. However, like we saw with some of the different security cross-wallet signing capabilities, like we saw at the Crypto Ball just here recently the other day, Brad Garlinghouse laughing and shaking hands with the Hedera founder. We saw Hedera get the 3 billion real world asset deal for jewelry here recently, and we saw Algorand make purchases inside Tesco stores for groceries. What we've got is consumer grade. We've got, like RWA grade, and we've got financial grade. Right now, I believe, XRP is the tip of the spear, and it's the financial grade one. It's all the money. But to slow down a blockchain to give it utility has its cost as well. And you don't slow down payment rails to give it utility. This is why I always said multiple chains will win and why I went multi-chain. But for interoperability, what we have is just to wait. It's all we got to do is wait, my friend. So there will be a profit incentive or a model in doing these intermediaries on the swaps. So it's coming, and yeah, you'll have that for sure.
I think it's important to try and make it seamless, isn't it? As well, interoperability, cross network usage. It's got to be seamless. Otherwise, it's just a bloody ball ache.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're incurring a lot of fees as well at each step. If you can make that seamless, you've cracked it, I think.
Yeah, no, that's the idea. And it's not arbitrage, but there is slippage and there is a variation in value. And all somebody has to technically do is set up a dual knowledge EVM style. So if you don't know much about like the Ethereum virtual machine and hopping around in that ecosystem, you can have 7, 8 tokens over there, no problem, on the same 0x address. And, you can be in that ecosystem in a different way than you can be over here. And luckily, with going over there, I learned all those things. But the point is that at some point, there will be these EVM style bridges, and they're going to have fees, and you're just going to slide right through at any time, right across these things. They'll have their profit incentive, so it'll be done. That's a guaranteed. And there's a need for it, so it'll be used. Yeah, like I said, we just got to wait. It's all good.
So while you're here, Rog, can I just jump on? You've spanned across so many different chains. I'm assuming it's a headache to tie everything together. How do you get your value from every bit of odds that's out on every chain? That sounds like a massive headache.
To be honest, we don't. I mean, they're all released independently and they all have their own values, and a lot of them are nearly a dead value, but maybe 30% of the good ones or important ones are doing fine. I personally am XRP, XLM, XDC, 80A is like number 6 for me on this list, so I don't want to say that directly. HBAR, yeah, I think that the top 5, XRP is number 1. Then probably Algorand and HBAR, then XLM, and then XDC. But all of those are really actually badass. And of course, XDC is getting a lot of deals. Guys, when the market pumps, it's usually these 5 assets that do really, really well. So that's why I like them. They're just good. They're usable and have good utility behind them.
I love that. What's the worst one that you've experienced, Henry? That's something I'd like to know. What's been the hardest one you've had to deal with?
Easy, hands down, no question about it. Number 1 on the hardest scale, and it was just straight up unbelievable, was Ethereum. And then after that was Cardano. And both of those chains, because I did clone overs and free deployments, I literally whined for 2 days to Zojas out there saying, okay, if you want your Ethereum Zoj, you're going to have to literally send me $5. And these are like Filipinos, and they're just like, what? $5, man, you crazy. And I'm like, no, dude, that's the gas fee on a slow day. Like, that is the kind of number. And then in Cardano, it was like 25 to 35 cents, and the transactions are slow on both of them. So we're talking in Zoj Legacy NFTs, I actually made special NFTs called tar pits just for those 2 chains because how hard they had made it. And it's just the design and the way that it is. And if you think that switching over to nodes and stuff like that sped it up, it didn't. They're a hot mess. And I'm glad that we are where we are. Build here because the future is here.
I love that. That's brilliant. I just needed to get that one, because if you're across every chain, you'll know the answer to that question. Brilliant. Good to have you up, buddy. Thanks.
There's some wise words there, Will. Thank you very much. Dan has been itching at the bit to say something, but as per normal, he's having a little mic issue. So he apologises profusely, and he's not trying to be rude, but he would waffle anyway. So it wouldn't. You're not missing too much. Thank you for coming up, Will. It's been really good to have you on board and giving some good insight.
Thanks a ton. And yeah, I miss Dan. It's been a while, and you guys may not know the long history, but we had good times, then we had bad times, and then we had good times. And I think after we had bad times, the good times that came around were so good because it was just we knew that each other were good and everything was proper. But man, this space is hard to survive in. Projects that make it are honorable and really trying. So all of these projects, give them a follow, give them a shout out, help them out and work with them, because what is built from here really is the beginning. And for the 2 years that we were working, we were working in dignified ways, but we're mostly just sideways trading and putting out roots and understanding and developing an ecosystem. But as far as value maturing, how does value mature when value refused to come in? And if the Trump coin didn't teach us anything, it's once value decides to go somewhere, it goes. And it goes so hard that you're just like, what the hell just happened? And it quite literally could be 3 days, 5 days. When that switch is flipped, and for every single day, you are literally mind blown and shaken to your core. If you'd bought some of that Trump early, holy shit, man. These people, there's a 15-year-old who's retiring.
Wow.
Retiring with like 30 mil.
I know a man. I know a man who bought some.
I'm sorry. Just to report this. Speaking about Trump coin, Melania Trump just came out with her own coin.
No.
This was verified. This was verified by Trump Jr.'s account. So if you want to get in early on something, you better buy Melania.
Send me the ticker, right, please. Live free. Send me the ticker on DM.
It's on Solana.
You guys is getting silly, man. Every bloody coins about every person on the planet soon. This is getting ridiculous.
I can't do it, guys.
Gonna come next.
All right,
go on.
Okay, thank you. Just briefly, I will say Trump and them are really damn good. And if you saw what Stuart Alderati posted about the beef bourguignon or whatever it is, and you know that that's a traditional meal for when deals are signed for like 100 years of the top when they have business meetings, you understand that Trump meeting with Brad and bringing legal counsel was undoubtedly what his message said, that a deal had been signed. And I think Trump is good at the 4D. The 4D chess. And at that, then you understand that but they don't necessarily want XRP to run before they make the announcements and have everything in order with Trump in office to sign all the documents and get the actual papers done for the actual financial switch. And if XRP pumps too hard, too fast, then it probably throws a wrench in their gears. Now, do I think Trump coin will rug at this point? No. But if Solana goes down in value, then we have a kind of a situation. So it's like, I think that it's a little 4D chess. I think that they know that it's all coming here, and they're kind of giving you butterflies for a minute. Ooh, look over here, butterflies. I won't go.
I find it strange as well. You spoke about a 100-year deal there. Yesterday, the Prime Minister of England, Keir Starmer, he signed a 100-year deal to pledge support to Ukraine for some reason, which I find bizarre. I find it extremely bizarre. But it's strange that you've just said that as well with the Trump coin.
Yeah, it's wild. We don't exactly know what they have planned, but I tell you what, I am not going to trade any XRP for any Solana. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I won't do it. It can't stop, won't stop XRP. That's it.
Absolutely. So, just as a heads up, if you're a project out there and you want to get on our space, please DM Live Free. He's the secretary. He sorts out all the admissions. We want more projects on our platform, so we can discuss about stuff that's going on and being built on the XRPL. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out tonight. It's been awesome getting everybody on. Any final questions or any closing statements, XRMine? Is there anything else, Andy, you'd like to say before we close the space?
No, I think we covered everything tonight, other than thank you for having us up, guys. It's been an absolute privilege. I've been listening for a long time, so it's great to be up on the stage. Obviously, I'll be following in with everything you guys are doing in the future. 2025 is a big year for us, so I'm really pushing it. There's going to be a lot of exciting things coming. Apologies if notifications are lack. It's a one-man band, and we're just going for it.
Before we all go, we got, is it Zerg? Zerg's asked to come up and ask you a question.
Yeah. How you doing, brother? How you doing? I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Zerg. I love XRP Ledger. I wanted to meet you guys because I'm currently, looking at different projects. I want the projects, really, I'm just trying to understand every project that's on the XRP Ledger. I actually have a couple DMP. Was it DMP Monks Finance? I actually got some of that on XRP Market, and I'm still holding. Doge, I got some of that too, and holding. XP Market, buddy. Don't worry, okay? But I also wanted to ask you a couple questions though. I know Crypto Palace is getting ready to close out, but I wanted to ask you a couple questions, maybe like in the DMs about your project, Zoj. Cause I wanted to understand it more. Maybe like really collab or something, cause I'm really understanding like the whole Web3 area and everything like that. So I just wanted to understand Zoj a little bit more. Cause I like that.
Hey,
Interoperability is huge.
yeah, feel free to DM me. And I mean, it's like straight up just Zoger between us, and they probably got things they got to get to get going on. But thanks for asking. DM me. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
There you go.
That's
There
my
you
sister.
go. So you come to the right place, Zerg. On a Sunday night, every Sunday night at UK 8 o'clock time, we go over project after project and we're reeling them out. We've got a website. We've got about 53 episodes of projects that are on the XRPL. Go and have a look. Educate yourself, and there's some really good informative stuff on that website. And also, we've got a YouTube channel. Thank you, Raylene, again. I think we should close it there. I think
Hey, I got a little breaking news. I hate to interrupt, but
Go
Bet
for it.
just posted 7 minutes ago, so it just hit my feed. Massive sell-off on Trump coin, and it looks like about a 40% on their market cap.
Where's just bought it?
Yo.
That's our alarm, Palace. We know that once West buys, that means we got to get out quickly.
He was so proud of himself as well.
There's a Trump token on XRPL. Not the Trump 45, but it literally says Trump.
Yeah, no, there is. We've done the Trump show as well. Again, look at the website. There's some good stuff on there. But yeah, these meme coins, you better watch out.
What's happened to the... So, as Trump coin, have I just been rugged yet again? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah,
because that's what it feels like.
You've been broke. Enjoy.
I know this feeling
There
all
you
too
have it
well.
on a live recorded space. Wes has been rugged on a live recorded space.
No way.
There you got it, everybody.
No way. This is getting a sickening feeling. This. I'm getting annoyed at feeling this so often. I really am. My goodness.
Wes, it looks like it dumped from around 70 down to $52 right now.
All right. Okay.
Anyway, there's a tumbleweed moment if ever I've known one. Everybody, thank you very much for coming out tonight. Enjoy. Please be here next week. We want everyone here. Good night. Take care. Bye bye.